Rock returned to SmackDown this past Friday night, and it was a massive success. It leaves a huge question to fans, though, of what we could see with The Rock in WWE leading up to and possibly a return at WrestleMania 40. It got me thinking a lot of things about WrestleMania 40, possible opponents, and could this actually happen? There's a lot of different possibilities here when it does come to the main event, Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief storyline, Cody Rhodes as well, and what could happen with him. This all started when The Rock was a guest on Pat Macafee's ESPN show, and as they were talking and going through things, The Rock noted that the WrestleMania 39 plans going up against Roman Reigns was essentially a done deal.
We were doing it.
It was locked in. They were planning to do that match at WrestleMania 39. The Rock didn't get into the details as to why the match itself didn't happen. We can only speculate that there are a couple of things. He noted that we just couldn't come to terms with that thing. They could have the match would be great, but he wanted to elevate it and take it up a notch and make it a biggest thing possible.
We couldn't actually nail what that thing was.
It could have meant that The Rock wanted to win the Undisputed Championship off of Roman Reigns, although with The Rock not really being around, I don't really know how that would have played out. It could have also been a situation where they had a handshake agreement to do the match, but then all of the things with WWE, specifically with Vince McMahon, all of the allegations, all of the lawsuits, everything started coming out, and there was a lot going on with WWE behind the scenes this past year. It's possible that The Rock really didn't want to get his hands involved in that and be anyway situated or affiliated with that until the dust settles. It's kind of convenient, it's kind of funny that right now The Rock does the interview with Pat McAfee, then we get the big surprise return of The Rock at SmackDown during the Pat McAfee Austin Theory segment. That segment was awesome. It was a huge surprise for the fans in Denver. No one expected it. No one knew it was going to happen. They were an hour away from when they did the interview. The thing went over 10 minutes long in just having The Rock in the ring. WWE produced one of their highest segments in recent memory for SmackDown. According to Sean Ross Sapp over at Fightful, the episode drew 2.445 million viewers overnight, which is a significant increase from the previous week's overnight number of 1.969 million. Out of the 2.445 million viewers, 834,000 hit the 18 to 49 demo, which is a 36% increase from the September 8th edition. You had a massive SmackDown. Pat McAfee, The Rock, and closing the show, John Cena. It was a massive show, not to mention LA Knight had a match, and he beat The Miz. So then we start to wonder, with these things kind of lining up, the interview, The Rock dropping the notes of he was supposed to be at WrestleMania 39 and it didn't happen, him saying to Pat McAfee that he is open to WrestleMania 40, it starts getting the wheels spinning of what WrestleMania 40 could look like. So let's speculate a little bit here. The one possibility is The Rock versus Roman Reigns Night 2 WrestleMania 40 main event. And to me, this can be done in a couple of different ways. You're not gonna get The Rock wrestling before then. You don't even need him to win the Royal Rumble. You could just have The Rock come out on an edition of SmackDown, confront Roman Reigns right around WrestleMania season after Survivor Series, and declare that he's coming for the Tribal Chief at WrestleMania. Much like a John Cena The Rock match where they built it for a year. You don't have to have it about the title, but it can be about having the status and who is the Tribal Chief, who is the head of the table, who is in charge of the bloodline. Roman can walk into WrestleMania 40 not putting the title on the line against The Rock. I don't know necessarily if they would do that, but the other way is obviously having it for everything. The Undisputed Championship, as well as the title of head of the table in the bloodline, and have Rock and Roman headline WrestleMania 40. In that situation, I do think that you end up with Roman retaining, and if Roman retains the title past WrestleMania 40, he's going on to pass Hulk Hogan's record for holding the WWE Championship. I kind of like the idea of not having the title on the line. Roman doesn't need to defend it against The Rock. The Rock can easily pivot and just say, this isn't about the belt, this is about the family and the title of Tribal Chief. And then you could have The Rock go over if you wanted to do that. But more intriguing is if the title is on the line ultimately, and it's a bigger match and a bigger moment. And that's where I say, you don't have to have The Rock enter the Royal Rumble and even win the Rumble or anything like that. Just declare it and have them do promos back and forth for months. But then the big question is, what do you do with Cody? He's trying to finish the story, but he's not going to be able to do it if The Rock is involved. And I do believe that if WrestleMania 40 main event is Rock and Roman, Cody's getting pushed aside. But there's a couple of things they could do with Cody here. You could have Cody go up against Roman night 1 of WrestleMania and try to do the main event there, and Cody wins the Undisputed Championship. There is also the rumblings of Cody getting drafted, traded over to SmackDown in exchange for Jey Uso. Cody Rhodes is not in a storyline right now, and I feel like WWE is kind of waiting for the moment to move him over to SmackDown so they can then continue the story of Roman versus Cody. Now you could have it headline night 1 and you can have Rock and Roman headline night 2. That was a lot of the speculation going into WrestleMania 39 as well. But I feel like if Cody doesn't win the Undisputed Championship this year, I don't see it happening for a very long time. And I feel like you've built this thing up and you're going in that direction. You need to get the belt on him. If that is kind of the ultimate plan here, you have Cody anchoring SmackDown potentially as the #1 babyface while Roman is pretty much away for months at a time. And then on Raw, you would have the likes of Seth Rollins or even an LA Knight getting traded over there. Or you have Shinsuke Nakamura, Gunther, Chad Gable. You have a lot of star power on Raw to anchor that show. Now, if The Rock does not come out for WrestleMania 40, I think you just move ahead with having Cody versus Roman night 2 WrestleMania for the belt, and Cody wins. The alternative for Cody though is that if they are not going to do a night 1 situation and night 2 for Roman with The Rock, you can have Cody Rhodes go off in a different direction because there's a lot of other elements at play here. There's the possibility and the story right now of CM Punk potentially returning to WWE and making all the sense in the world that if he does return, it happens at Survivor Series in Chicago. You could end up with Cody versus CM Punk in a match at WrestleMania. You could do Cody versus the World Heavyweight Champion. Maybe that is Gunther. Maybe that is CM Punk. Maybe it is Seth Rollins. And you have that anchor night 1 of WrestleMania. The problem with that is that Cody is trying to finish the story with the Undisputed Championship, not the World Heavyweight Championship, and it might come off as more of a consolation prize. But it depends if they are trying to get Cody versus Roman, and it depends if they're trying to make Cody the guy and dethrone Roman Reigns. Cody could also win an Elimination Chamber match. He could win the Royal Rumble back-to-back years. I don't really want to see Cody win the Rumble again, and the reason why is if they do that, I feel like you have to enter Cody in at #1 so that he can overcome all the odds and all the obstacles and be the one to win the whole thing. And I feel then it's just kind of a given. And I would worry that the crowd would turn on him. I'd also worry that if Cody gets drafted and traded over to SmackDown, you have a top babyface kind of competing air with LA Knight, who is emerging as a top babyface on SmackDown. LA Knight declaring on SmackDown that he wants to start going after gold. He's challenging Roman, Ray, Gunther, Seth, all the titles. It's going to be interesting what they do here. If they trade Cody, you might want to trade LA Knight over to Raw so that there isn't any overlap with these two top baby faces. Because I would worry that with LA Knight's popularity right now, that you're going to end up with him superseding Cody Rhodes, and then the crowd starts to turn on Cody a little bit in favor of LA Knight. I think no matter what you do there, you gotta keep them separate and keep them away from each other. So Cody has options, but I think finishing the story is the biggest thing that they need to try to do. But if The Rock comes in, it's gonna be interesting to know what they do and how they play that out, how much of the bloodline gets involved. They're hinting and teasing that Solo is getting orders from somebody else, and that's outside of Roman Reigns. They could be dropping and playing into all of this, that The Rock is truly in charge and pulling the strings here and getting Solo on his side and ordering him around, and this will lead to the crumbling of the bloodline where we end up with The Rock versus Roman Reigns with no bloodline around. Jimmy and Jay could fight each other, Solo could be fighting Jimmy, they could do a lot of different things there, but the bloodline I think needs to crumble by the time we get to WrestleMania. Whether it's Rock and Roman or Cody versus Roman, I think the bloodline needs to be done at that point. Will The Rock be at WrestleMania 40? Will he challenge Roman? Will he win the belt? Will it even happen, or will it all go away and we're gonna get Cody versus Roman at night 2 of WrestleMania? Little bit of early speculation and predictions. Comment below your thoughts. If you guys enjoy videos like this, hit the like button. I will see you on the next video. Bye.